What's up, dudes? New amp in the house. Spark. Right there. Spark. With Smart Jam. So I thought we would do a quick unboxing here. Where's my knife go? Oh dear. This is off to right there. This is off to a horrible start. Like that. Like this. No. Something like that. Oh, here we go. So this is a 40-watt amp. Stereo. Got two speakers in it. Probably 20 watts a speaker. Looks like we have a little box here with some stuff in it. And then I don't know, oh, this comes off. And this comes off. And then out comes, does it have a handle? I don't feel a handle. All right, let's get down to the side. And we got it right there. Okay. All right. Anything else in the box? I don't see anything. Go there. And put our packing away. How you doing? All right. There it is. It's a lot brighter than I thought it would be. All right, here we go. Spark. That's pretty strong tape, actually. Ooh, okay. I guess we'll do it. We'll go like this. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Oh, right. There's a little handle right there. Just like that. See right there. Well, it's got some weight to it. Oh. So if you don't know much about the little spark here, by Positive Grid, and 40-watt little practice amp that connects to an iPad or an Android device, and it can do a whole bunch of stuff, including Smart Jam. All right, what do we have in here? Ooh. We have a power supply. We have, looks to me like a code for Studio One Prime. That's probably a lighter version than Studio One Full. You want to use a Studio One. And it looks like we probably have some more software downloads. Yeah, they're giving us some more, grids to, what do they call those? Not UPC symbols, but you know what I'm saying. Those grids. Yeah, so available on App Store and Google Play. I already have it installed on my iPad. I'm way ahead of the game. All right, so there we have it. We have a brick right there, USB cable, and the spark. Nice. Definitely has some weight to it. Twin speakers, as far as I know. If you look at the top here, we have on this side all the different types of amps you can use, right? And so what do you got? You've got acoustic, bass. Oh, that's right. You can plug an acoustic or a bass into this too. It's also an acoustic amp or a bass amp. Guitar amps are clean, glassy, crunch, high gain, and metal, just like Bias. Right? It seems to be pretty much Bias. What else? Gain, bass, mid, treble, master. And then you have a mod control, a delay, reverb, and then a master output. You have your input. You have you can also input music to play along with it, and you can separately control the music volume. I think either through your phone or you might be able to auxiliary in. It does have an auxiliary. I'm not sure if that's in or out, but let's assume that that's in. Then, like, so you can connect like an iPod to it, I suppose, or just some sort of a device with a stereo out. But we'll double check that. It's also Bluetooth. Full on Bluetooth. All right. There you go. And then the back is, you can see right there, the USB, the auxiliary, and then the pairing light for the Bluetooth. There you have it. 4 presets right on top. Preset buttons right there. As well as a tap, so you can tap a tempo. And there you go. There's your unboxing. Well, I think we need to obviously plug it in and check it out. So give me a second. Let me get this all hooked up. I'll be right back. All right, so let's take a closer look at the Spark hardware. This is a 40-watt stereo amp. The speakers are specially designed full range speakers like you would get out of a regular Bluetooth speaker. And that's because it can play music. And in fact, it acts just as a separate standalone Bluetooth speaker. So I can call up, Spotify or Apple Music or Amazon Music or whatever you're subscribed to or whatever you happen to have on any Bluetooth player. MP3s, WAV files, FLAC files, and or even a video where you want to send the audio out over a Bluetooth speaker. This will just function as a straight up 40-watt stereo Bluetooth speaker. It sounds amazing. So just as a separate Bluetooth speaker, it's pretty freaking awesome. Forgetting about everything else that goes with it, it's actually a pretty amazing Bluetooth speaker. All right. Because it can Bluetooth with your iPad, obviously you can set up all your rigs through the iPad. You can use an Android phone. You can use an iPhone. So it's both a tablet or phone size. It's both iOS and Android. I don't believe there's a PC app. Maybe someday there will be, and you can connect it through USB. But for right now, all the modifications are done through either iOS or Android. So moving left to right, the first knob you have here is the amp selector knob. And if you'll notice, it has 2 extra little features on there, acoustic and bass. And yes, you can plug an acoustic guitar into this and it will act as an acoustic amp. And you can plug a bass guitar into this and it will act as a bass amp. So it's quite a bit of functionality built into a quote-unquote guitar amp. You can actually use it for bass and acoustic as well. And then after that, it's all the standard models, clean and crunch and high gain and metal. From there, you have a gain knob, most of your typical amp stuff, bass, mid, treble, and then the master. Now, that master is not for the whole amp. That master is just for the guitar sound, just for the amp, right? Not everything in it, just the guitar amp. Moving on there, you have the level mix for mod, delay, and for reverb. And so if, like, on the fly, you just feel like there's just too much, I hit it. Oh, that's too much reverb. I can quickly go over and turn the reverb off or just turn it down. I can turn the delay off very quickly just by hitting the knobs. And then the last one is output. And that's your real true master volume. That's the master volume for everything. For the music playback, for the guitar amp playback, or your live playing. That output knob is the final say in the overall volume of the unit. And up here is another little smaller knob. This one, up next to the headphone out, is to mix the background music. So rather than having to go through and change all your patches in the master output of each patch, right? Rather than having to do that, you can just adjust the master output of the music and very quickly go back and forth with the levels until you find one that you like. So pretty cool. But next to that are the quick presets. There's 4 built in where you can just quickly go through. You can assign anything you want. They have it right now assigned to a clean and a crunch and a high gain and a metal. So it very quickly shows you the range of it. This is a little tap tempo, and that's pretty much it. On the back, there's a USB. You can plug it in as a USB device, and it will act as an audio interface, which basically means that if you opened up Reaper, the Spark 40 would be an interface. And so I have to choose between that and my Focusrite. My Focusrite has a lot more channels, so I'm using the Focusrite, and I'm miking this up. And I'm using 2 microphones because it is true stereo. And to use one microphone, you wouldn't quite hear it the way it sounds like when it's sitting in front of you. If you plug it in with the USB, it'll send a mono signal to the Reaper, right? And then it will send a stereo signal back. And it works really well. You will actually listen to your track back through the Spark amp. The Spark will act as your monitors, as your speaker monitors, and as the interface to put the guitar tracks down. It's actually pretty slick, but a little bit beyond the scope of this video. The next thing I want to talk about is the iPad interface. So over here, if I click on this little bar up at the top, it gives me this filtering. And right now you can see I'm on hardware. If I click this clean, I'm on that clean tone. And as you can see, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. Gate, compressor, drive, amp, mod, delay, and reverb. These are pretty much fixed. So if I want to turn the compressor on or off, I can hit the little button, turns it on. You'll see it lights up here. Turn it off, it grays it out up here. But what I can't do is I can't move this around. I can add it and I can take it away. I can turn the drive off by moving it up, moving it down, turns it on. But what I can't do is say I want the drive in front of the compressor, right, or vice versa. These are sort of set in stone. But it does give you basically 7 items. A gate, a compressor, and if I double-click the compressor, you'll see I have a bunch of compression choices. Right, I have 5 compressors, so I'm using the third one. I'm using the red comp. But I could just click that, and it will change it to the sustain comp or the LA comp, right, all these compressors. Same with the drive. If I click the drive, now I have all the different drives. And they have like 9 different drives. And I'm sure these will get updated over time as more and more development for the product happens. And the same with amp. If I click amp, you can see all the different amps that are available. I think there's 30. Is it 30? Yeah, 30 different amps. That's quite a bit. And to get rid of this screen and go back to my main screen, I just click that little arrow and it goes back down again. All right, so like one of the things you'll notice is that here I have this, say I have this reverb up. You see I have a reverb level. So I can go here and change my reverb level down or turn my reverb level up. But I can also do it over here. I can go over here and change the reverb level here. And if you'll notice, it's changing on this side. And that works with anything else. If I go to delay, and I move the delay level, you can see the delay. Or I can turn it all the way down. If I turn the level down to 0, there the delay is very low, but if I put it to 0, it actually grays it out and turns it off. And you'll see the light goes out. If I turn it up just even a little bit, There goes the light on. It lights back up here, and it works again. So, and you can just set it to whatever you want. Now, if you'll notice this little screen up at the top, it's telling me what I'm using. I'm using clean. If I click this second one, it would say I was in crunch. And if I hit the third one, again, by clicking the amp, I'm in high gain. That's using the amp to control, but I could do the other way around. I could just tap this, and now comes up all my various patches. These are the ones that are currently assigned to the hardware. So this one says hardware, it's lit up. And I'm on the third one here, I'm on high gain. I could click metal, and it would go to metal. I could go to crunch, and it would go to crunch. So I can control the amp from here. These are filtering. So if I want all my patches, I click all, and they're all there. I think it's a little easier just to use the filters. So I can click pop, and I can choose, one of these items. I could go to blues and choose, say, country road. And the same with these other ones. I can go to rock, choose. So say I pick this one here and I bring it up, and I like this drive, but maybe I want to change something about it. I just tap it and I can control it from here. Or I could double tap it, and it will give me all the other ones I can choose. So I could choose, like, say, fuzz face. And it's much more of a fuzz tone. And of course I could, let me just go here. I can change the volume on it. The amount of fuzz. Yeah. Now, maybe with a sound like that, I want to add like a mod to it. So I can tap the mod. Brings up a chorus, but I'm not quite feeling chorus. So I'm going to double tap mod. And here are my items. I think I'm going to go with, well, Univibe, Classic Vibe. Let's try Univibe. Oh, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Just get rid of modulation. And then I think it's so it's two different types of vibe. I think I like this first one better. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. And so if I want to save that, I just go up here into the corner and I tap overwrite. And now I believe if I go to Dark Soul and call that up. But if I go back to Crazy Crew, So now it's got the fuzz and it's got the trem mod that I added to it. All right. So if we go back to this main screen here, you'll see that there's, metal, right? And then there's alternative, right? And then there's bass and acoustic, little something for all the features that the amp can do. Let me go back to, let's say, blues. We have a bunch here, right? Four items. But maybe none of these four are doing anything for me. And I want a different patch. I close this out by pressing this little X up here. If I could tap it. Come on. There we go. And then behind it, you'll see up here a little cloud. Little cloud. We tap the little cloud. And now we're on the website version of all these patches. And if I click blues, you can see it's got a whole bunch of patches I can choose from. If I want to hear it, all I have to do is tap it, like this fender bender. Right? And it previews the sound for me. Bright tweed. So maybe I like that sound and I want to download it. You'll see there's this little red arrow that goes down. I just tap that. It says, well, where do you want to put it? It defaults to putting it in blues because that's where it had it filtered, but I could choose, anything else by just clicking this and choosing, rock or metal or pop, or whatever I want to put it. But blues is the correct answer. So I'm going to click save. And now if I close this out and I go back to my blues filter, you'll notice I have a new patch at the very end here. Bright tweed has been added to my list. And these are local patches. These are not on the web. These are ones that I don't need an internet connection to make work. These are stored on here. All the patch parameters are stored on the iPad locally. So, again, if we go back to the cloud, you can just see that there's a whole bunch. The metal ones just go on, and there's alternative, and there's a whole bunch of rock, blues, and pop. There's a whole bunch of rock ones, right? So I could choose this like Steve Vai one just to see what it sounds like. We just tap it. Of course, a bunch of effects. This one's called Pink Floyd Breathe Time. Again, just a whole bunch you can choose. If I like it, I can click download it, and then it will be on my local. So we'll go back here to Crazy Crew. All right. I'm going to choose a, let me just find a tone I like. I think I like that Country Road one. And maybe I don't want so much reverb. So I just bring that reverb down a little bit just by hitting it on the, on the Spark amp itself. I could also control it from here if I want. Same with like the mids. As I turn the mids, you'll see the mids here. All right. We've only covered really the first main half of what the software does. The second real main half of this is under this little note. I don't know if you can see this here on the iPad. This little double note at the bottom. So the first is the amp, right? You can see a little amp silhouette. This is 2 notes. And when we go here, we bring up all the music. So this is the whole music section. So here is basically the amp section, and the second one is all the music section. So the first part is Smart Jam. And I could just say, you know what? I just want a blues or funk or rock. I'm just going to tap blues, and it just comes up with a blues track, and it's telling me the chords. Right. And so very quickly, I was able to just throw together a little song there. It's telling me the chords, it's showing me the chords, and it's walking me through the song right here. I'm up to like the second chorus. And so that'll go on until we get to the very end. This little blue patch will tell me it's the ending, and I can work out a whole tune. If that didn't work for me, I could go back to the main page. I could say do the same thing for rock. Maybe my guitar is too loud there. So I can work the mix knob. Right? So I'm very quickly able to work together the guitar with the Smart Jam. All right, so that was Smart Jam by just pressing on a create a blues or create a funk, and it will like whip up a blues or a funk tune by just pressing the genre button. Let's click create and say let's jam. I tap the tempo. It'll give me that tempo back. It's going to think about it, and it's going to write a little backing track for me using those chords. Right, and you can just very quickly give yourself a little something to practice over. You could make it much simpler than what I did there and just do a couple of chords just so you could jam over something. All right, so below the Smart Jam section, you'll see there are genres broken out with these little thumbnails called metal, blues, ballad, and so forth. When you click on that, believe it or not, it actually goes out to the internet and calls up a YouTube video. It analyzes the chords of the YouTube video and shows them down at the bottom as it goes through and plays the song back in the background. So if I click Deep Bluesy, which is from Elevated Jam Tracks, and it's showing me it's going to E, then to B, right, and then back to C. C sharp minor. So forth. Whoop. So you can quickly find not just, that, I mean, just there's so many. Pick any one. And so you can find yourself getting lost in these amazing backing tracks, all built right in, playing back through the system, playing them back in stereo, and you can jam along, and you can set the backing level right here. If I thought it was too loud, I can just set that level right here. Anyway, a little bit of that, and what else can I show you? This last one is just your personal stuff. So if you want to know what you had played for backing tracks, it'll keep sort of a little tally for you. One other thing I can just show you on this, and that is the metronome. You can tap it to set a tempo, and then it'll just play back. So you go. All right, dudes, well, there you have it. There is the Spark 40 amp. I think at its heart, it's really a really nice high-end Bluetooth speaker, full-range Bluetooth speaker that you can play your iPad through or your phone through. And then they said, well, wait a second. We can just stick a whole amp in there, and as long as we do the modeling correctly with speaker cabs and all that, we can integrate the two. And so what you really have is this Bluetooth speaker that's playing back this background musical content, and this amp that's fully integrated with it, and you're able to go back and forth over Bluetooth and use it as a full-blown computer interface. It's pretty. This is why it won like the best product of like NAMM, or like the best amp of NAMM. It's won some awards already because it really is a pretty amazing product. How they're able to put so many features in a unit that costs about $250. That's pretty amazing. All right, dudes, I'll leave links down in the description if you want more information. As always, thanks so much for hanging out. Rock on.